David Benavidez's pops, his dad, says that Canelo is going to have to fight his son David or Jermall Charlo. He's running out of options. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys throw a like on the video. It goes a long way when you guys put a thumb up, simple, free gesture, put a like on the video, and it'll notify others who are looking for similar content in the world of boxing that the content is fire, it's informative, and that kind of thing. Now, Pacquiao Ugas is today, and Jose Benavidez Sr. has a fighter on the card, El Rayo, and he's going to be fighting this gentleman you see on the screen. He was interviewed regarding his son. He gave an update. His son tested positive for Rona. His fight was supposed to happen, and it got canceled, unfortunately. So he did update the fans, and I'll put the link in the description so you can watch it verbatim. But he basically said his son is on the road to recovery. He had to do a quarantine, and I think he said he's traveling back to Seattle with his family, and he's waiting for the clearance to begin training, and hopefully they get to reschedule the fight in Arizona, where the Benavidez family is from. And he says his son has since tested negative for the Rona. So, basically on the road to recovery. Now, he did talk about the upcoming fight with Canelo and Caleb Plant. This was just announced. Canelo Alvarez posted it on his social media. He was the first to do so. And it says Canelo Plant, November 6th. Jose Benavidez Sr., I'm just going to paraphrase what he was saying. He said it's a great fight. He says Canelo versus Plant. It's a meaningful fight where it's for the belts. And then he said that Canelo is going, he didn't really say anything in this particular interview as far as a prediction, but I've seen other predictions from him. And he basically said Canelo all the way, and Canelo is going to put Caleb Plant in the hospital. So he definitely is favoring Canelo in that particular fight. But he gave in this particular interview, he gave credit to Canelo and Plant for stepping in. And the beauty of that fight is it's in the four belt boxing. They're fighting for all the belts, and it's legit. It's no like Teofimo where you got this situation where Devin Haney has a belt and Teofimo has the other belt and the franchise belt, which is new in boxing. It's no politics like that. It's Canelo got these belts. Caleb Plant has the last remaining belt. They're fighting for all of them. So I actually like this because I like that fight. I did want to see David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant, but this came up first. And at the end of the day, nobody's going to turn down a Canelo fight, especially if it's lucrative. The networks want it, and that's the case with Plant and Canelo. So David Benavidez's dad also said that Canelo is going to need to fight David Benavidez or Jermall Charlo. These are the fans' favorites and the fights that the fans are clamoring for. So he says it has to happen. I've been telling you, it's just funny. Ego Stradamus strikes again. I've been telling you guys much of the same. The walls are closing in for Canelo in the big fights. You can say whatever you want, but I firmly believe that part of DAZN and the Bevo situation, I don't think it all the way adds up. I don't think DAZN was looking to pay Canelo this preposterous amount of money that he's used to getting, at least for the Bevo fight, if it would have happened in September 18th. Because Canelo, he was golfing, he got married, all this stuff. And by the time he started negotiating, he first tried to negotiate with Caleb Plant for September 18th, and that went kaput. That went south. And then he tried to switch gears and go to Bevo, and he only had like 44 days until the fight, and he didn't have an actual announced fight to the public. So that's far too little time to promote. So between that could have been one of the reasons DAZN possibly didn't even want that fight, because it was ill time to prepare, and they would have had to give him a lot of money for a guy who his last fight, Bevo, he's a good fighter, but his last fight wasn't even, damn, he's fast. Benavidez's hand speed is quick. Bevo's last fight wasn't even a main event. He was on a co-feature. So it's like, do you pay all that type of money for Canelo? So Canelo escapes to Fox We'll see what DAZN does and what their response is. But I agree. Another bad thing for DAZN is Canelo is being paid a pretty penny, $40 million guaranteed to fight on PBC, plus incentivized with pay-per-view back-end money, and he has endorsement deals, whatever. And it's a big fight, and it's back on pay-per-view, and it's for all the belts. This is something Canelo, he has a great career. He's never been undisputed though. So this is a first for him. So it's a reason to celebrate, and it's a reason for his fans to want to see the conclusion and the outcome of that particular fight. Plus, I personally think Caleb Plant is a great dance partner. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a great fight. David Benavidez, his pops was saying that it's a great fight, and then David will want the winner. And there's only so long before, if they keep working and David Benavidez keeps looking good, he said the game plans to try to get him back on track, beat Jose Uzcategui, and keep basically most of the card intact, and do what no one else has done with Jose Uzcategui, which is knock him out. And then if he could do that and continue just looking good and winning and staying active, then he believes that his son, David Benavidez, the demand for the Canelo fight will only grow, and people are going to want to see that. So Canelo's running out of options, and it could happen. Again, as I was just mentioning, a bad sign for DAZN is it's clear to me that Canelo Alvarez is not fighting on DAZN for the rest of the year. There's no way he can. He just told you his fight with Plant is on November 6th. So there's only one more month of 2021. So this will literally be his last fight of the year. I know Canelo at one point, I think he even said he wanted to fight 4 times, but if you're fighting November 6th and you're a superstar and you're making all that money, there's no way on earth you're going to fight in December again. You know what I mean? Plus, the Caleb Plant fight's a tough fight. So that means he's not going to be on the DAZN app for the remainder of the year. So they're going to have to work on their own fall schedule. The other thing is, you know, who knows? He could go over to PBC, like the way he was treated, like the money, like the, you know, setup, and decide to stay. And now you got Jose Benavidez Sr., who's basically advocating for his son to make good with the Uzcategui when his son is back healthy, make good with that. And then he wants his son to fight Canelo Alvarez. Guys like Jermall Charlo, he said it in the interview, he said these are the guys that people want to see him fight. So there's lucrative fights, there's good business for Canelo to stay on PBC. I mean, I don't know if he wants to fight Benavidez or Jermall Charlo, but money talks. So maybe they can make it happen. So it really makes you wonder and question the future of DAZN USA. You know, they changed their name a little while ago from DAZN USA to just DAZN Boxing. And I think they're getting out of the US market personally. And I've been saying that. And Canelo holds a lot of power in this given situation with their business particularly, because Triple G, he's at an age, he's not trying to fight the best, you know, and he doesn't generate the numbers and hasn't even looked great in his recent fights. So it'll be interesting. First things first, Canelo Alvarez, Caleb Plant. We got to see how that fight plays out. And then beyond that, you know, there are a lot of great fights for Canelo should he stay on DAZN. You know, maybe even the Plant fight calls for a rematch. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Caleb Plant and being disrespectful. I happen to be a non-biased and a boxing fan who gives boxing a fair shake. There's a lot of radical people who say they're not biased, and they clearly they don't put no thought into these fights. Caleb Plant is definitely a stylistic challenge for Canelo. That's why if Canelo beats him, if he does what a lot of the Canelo fans are saying he's going to do, which is destroy him and knock him out in one round, if he does all that, he gets a lot of credit because it's a good fight and it's for undisputed. But I for one, think that it's a dangerous fight. You know, I think they'll test each other. And this is what happens when you get elite fights. But David Benavidez, back to him. Hopefully he's healthy from the Rona and it didn't take no, major toll. I look forward to seeing when his fight gets rescheduled, but I definitely want to see Canelo fight David Benavidez. If he's going to stay at 168, if he beats Caleb Plant, I mean, what is he going to do? Because if he goes to 175, who wants to see Canelo keep going to 175 for one-off fights? If he's not going to stay at 175 to fight everybody, better be a Bevo, Marcus Brown, you know, Badu Jack, whoever, then it doesn't really make sense. So I personally think 168, he's already not the tallest person in that division. So I think that's more of his division than 175 is. He'd be taking a rest. He'd be taking, at 175, he's taking a big risk, just fighting bigger guys who can take a punch probably better. And none of the names are going to ring bells like some of the top names at 160, 168, like Jermall Charlo and David Benavidez particularly. Let me know what you guys think. Benavidez team, they still have Canelo in their sights, in their radar. I think the fight could happen. It should happen in the future. Great stylistic match. But first things first, Canelo Plant. Use my link in the description to get TUBEBUDDY. TUBEBUDDY is an awesome browser extension to help you make money on YouTube. I started off with 0 subscribers. Now we're over 200,000 and counting. You can make money too on YouTube. It takes work. TUBEBUDDY will help get you there. Let me know what you guys think. Will Canelo ever fight David Benavidez? From what Benavidez team says, they got their eye on him. Canelo's coming to their network that they've been working with, Al Heyman, Premier Boxing Champs. So they're hoping to score that fight. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.